Hello goat lovers, Crystal here with Blue Cactus Dairy Goats, and I just got back from one of the first SADGA in-person goat meetings that we have had in a very long time. So it was really nice to see some of my goat friends. Felt like a little bit of normalcy. But yeah, I just want to tell you guys what we discussed. So I had mentioned to you guys that I am going to a show the 1st of May, and this show was only supposed to be around 50 people that could even attend. There wasn't to be any more than 50 people, just simply because there was county regulations, and crowds of 50 people or more just aren't allowed without having to pay a lot of extra money to the county to put on, you know, any big gathering like that. And then on top of that, they come around and they're going to make sure you have your masks and just so forth, and then you'll get fined if you don't, in a 6-foot range of other people. So it just kind of put it kind of into it would have been a smaller show, but again, we still wanted to make sure it happened. So it's just kind of like first come, first serve. So as far as that's concerned, that has been lifted, so we no longer have to worry about just having the 50 people, and it looks like we have about 80 attendees at this point. So it's going to be a bigger show, which is always better. The more goat people, the merrier. And as well, you know, more goats. So a lot of people like to go to shows that only have a few goats in them. It's easier to win, but personally, I like winning at big shows because it just shows, okay, it just feels a lot better to win at a big show with lots of animals. Not to mention that you get to see all these other animals and just, you know, all these beautiful goats that are all groomed up and looking good, and the competition is fun. But anyway, so that's exciting. That it's going to be a bigger show. I like the big shows. And also, it's kind of a little bit nerve-wracking because Betty said, she is the club president, but she said that only 4 people have turned in their entries for the show. So we did put feelers out, sent emails, Facebook, and whatnot, asking people, would you attend if we put this show on? Because of course you have to have the numbers to make it work. And yeah, a lot of people actually came back. Even people from other states wanted to attend, just simply because there hasn't been any shows. Very few shows anyway. So, only 4 people have turned in their entries. I of course was one of them. I happened to be the first one to turn my entries in, just because I have been an entry clerk before, and you know, people like to wait till last minute or try to enter their animal while you're at the show, and it gets really confusing. It gets really complicated, just last minute things, and it puts a lot of work on the entry clerk. The entry clerk is just going to have to put together everything. So in each ring, you're going to have each different breed of goat is going to compete against each other, but they will go in by different ages. And then in each age group, so say like the yearlings, the 1-year-old does, and then the 2-year-old does, and then the 3 and 4 and 5 and so forth. And then whoever's the first place out of those does, out of each age group, then they go in to compete against each other in the end for the champion. So whoever wins out of that in the end is the champion. So anyway, all of that has to be, you know, printed out, typed out, and printed off on an Excel form. And so it's just a lot of data to collect and have printed off and ready for the show. So we, of course, are crossing fingers that a lot more people are going to be entering, and they're just going to do things last minute, like it's very common. But still, there's only 7 more days for the deadline to have their entry forms in. And again, only 4 people. So we're going to have to see how that goes. And just, I got my fingers crossed for a big turnout. I'm really hoping that we still have a really big turnout. And we probably will. And I probably am going to offer up some help to Betty if she needs it. Because if all of those people, only 4 turned in and 80 said that they would attend, eek, that's a lot of work, you know, in the last minutes. Not to mention she still has her animals to get ready and everything else because she shows also. So that was number 1 on the agenda for discussion. Second discussion, so if you guys haven't heard me say it before, I've mentioned it a couple times. It's something the club has been doing for a couple years now, actually putting together and working on. But ADGA has a national convention every year, and every year it's in a different state. But this year, of course, last year it got canceled. But anyway, this year it's here in Tucson, and SADGA, the group that I'm in, the club that I'm in, is putting that on. So we have been working on that, and we have to find the hotel. We we already have the hotel, you know, and figure out if it has enough rooms. And okay, we're going to be doing this in this room. We'll do a cheese class. We'll do a soap class. There's linear appraisal classes. There's judges training classes. There's this, a big slew of things put on for youth if they want to come. Just all kinds of things go on at the ADGA National Convention, and just how super exciting that's going to be here in Tucson. So it's something I have wanted to attend for years and years and years, but it's very, very expensive. Not only is the ticket per person expensive, it's about $325, which is like, one person, that's feasible. You know, well, Emily wants to go, Darren wants to go, and, you know, of course I had the other two girls that wanted to go that are now moved out, but either way, you know, it gets up there with each ticket. And then on top of that, when it's in another state, you got to get, you know, hotel, you got to fly or drive. And anyway, never been able to go. So this is just really exciting that we're going to be able to be part of the national convention with, you know, again, our group is putting it on. So it's like, it's just really, really neat to hear the ins and outs and the planning of it. And man, there's just a lot that really goes into it. And it's going to cost the club money, and whatnot. So you just really have to come up with things for, you know, you got to find sponsors. You have to find ways to make money selling t-shirts or just all kinds of different things. So really a lot entailed in putting something like that on. But again, just really excited. So that is going to be in November. Now, November, it is cooler. So that's going to be nice, as far as we won't be out in the heat and everything, like where the shows are going to be super hot. But another thing, you know, the club has to have animals for some of these classes that clinics that they're putting on. So for instance, the AI, artificial insemination, there's even a clinic for that. So goats have to be there to be able to put that clinic on and show people how it's done. You know, we have to have people giving up their animal and you know, donating their animal's time, if you will, and their time as well. And then the judges training, which is what I'm going to take part in as far as offering up does for that. But for the judges training, they need does and milk. And since it's in November, it does really kind of puts me in a pickle. I like to keep my breeding schedule how it is, and I dry up before we breed in October. October 1st is our breeding date, so that's when we put the bucks and does together. And I always dry them up first because we pen breed, meaning we just house the bucks and does together for 2 months, and I don't want to be going in that buck pen and taking the doe out twice a day. So that really puts me in a pickle as far as what am I going to do there. So to choose the does that I'm going to keep in milk, I don't know. So I really have to kind of think that through also. And I kind of just, I don't know. So of course I was like, heck yeah, let's do it. I'll do it. No biggie. But now I'm just kind of like, oof, what am I going to do? I'm either going to have to drive by these does, which I don't do, or I'm gonna have to go in and out of that pen twice a day to keep that doe in milk for an extra, well, it'll be like an extra 6 weeks. So I don't know. I'm just gonna have to go with it. But either way, those were the two main topics. Super cool things going on this year. Just excited to get back into some normalcy with the goat shows, and then the convention coming to Tucson, and you know, me being able to have such a huge part of it is just really, really neat. Never been able to go to one, and this one I'm gonna be able, you know, I've had a big role in, and just as it goes on, well, I'll have a bigger role in the club. So just really neat. Wanted to give you guys that update, just let you know how the meeting went. Again, just so cool to see some of my lovely goat friends in person again, rather than over a Zoom meeting. or just through emails. So again, feeling like a little bit of normalcy is going on this year, or getting back into it. So all right, guys, just wanted to give you that update. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you again soon.